but he's just kind of in doing it. And, you know, we want to let that go. At the same time, you know, we kind of want to know what's going on, right? So it's how do you let them go and direct themselves? You know, and I don't want to ask them to do a book report. I don't want to ask them to give us a speech. I don't, you know, that seems kind of artificial.
Well, I know this might not be exactly the answer that you're looking for, but I do have a way that I think could put your minds at ease a little bit. He went to first grade in public school, private school. He went to second grade in private school. He went to third grade in private school, and he went to fourth grade in private school. Therefore, he already has all of the skills that almost every American graduates the 12th grade with. You know, he can read, he can write, he can add, he can subtract, he can multiply, and he can divide. Now, it's up to you in your environment to make sure that you undo the lessons of he can conform, he can submit, he can obey, you know, and that, I think so. I think that's a great start, right? Because we're talking about the measurement of the development of skills, and more specifically, like as he goes forwards with these pursuits, like what's his hot pursuit right now if he has one?
He's really trying to figure out game development. He likes the game side of things. He wants to write games.
So what I always say is just follow the intrinsic motivation of the child. Because obviously, yeah, I mean, it helps to say, to make the whole self-confidence, self-esteem thing explicit with kids. But that, I mean, if he spent a significant time in institutionalized schooling, like almost all of us did, that's going to be an ongoing process. And that motivation and that confidence is going to build by just kind of letting him go and follow his curiosity. And I know it's a hard thing for me to say because I know I can only imagine how much you have invested in it emotionally as a parent. But just kind of letting it go and being patient. You know, from the people that I've talked to who've been doing this, that seems to be the best approach that I can offer. And I hope that's been helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
My situation is we have 4 children. They're now 25 and 29. 7th grandkid on the way. We pulled our kids out when the oldest was in 3rd grade. It became very obvious that I was going to have to fix a whole bunch of stuff later. I might have to deal with a lot of the problems. I just knew that we'd be better off doing it at home. Then they went to a charter school. We did private school. We settled on for a while. We were happy there. As my grandchildren are coming in, we're seeing there's a lot more resources available to keep them inspired and curious and to learn. They always say, why? Why? 5 years old, yeah, why? What they're really saying is, tell me more. You get it? I got that part. Okay, why is it? Next.
Right.
And I want to inspire that. But the resources, even though we have the internet, even though we got Khan Academy, you know, we have videos, I mean, I'm really looking for, and I'll give you an example. My grandson's in the back, and we're traveling, and there were bales of cotton up there. They're picking the cotton fields in Arizona. Yes, there's cotton in the fields. Number 1 in the country, citrus, 2nd, 3rd, Atwater grows, you know, okay? So what happened was, as this cotton, you know, like snow going over, it's like, oh, they're picking t-shirts. What? So I showed them a video. You know, of course, you know, cotton to t-shirts, and they, you know, cotton, they grow in t-shirts. Okay, all right, you know, Grandpa wasn't screwing me on this one, you know. Then the next one was, oh yeah, you know, cars are made from dirt. So you get to the mining thing, you know, then you go to cars. Then it was, oh yeah, all plastic stuff and oil. Well, then they're like, we get back, and tells his sister, he goes, yeah, Grandpa showed me, she goes, oh yeah, where does glass come from? Well, sand, of course. Once I get them these videos and they start to understand it's all growing and mining and everything, then they start thinking about it. You start, you know, everything's made of this stuff. You know, the phone. Then my 5-year-old granddaughter goes to me and she says, and I knew what she meant. She goes, how do computers work? She didn't mean they got it down, man. They're doing all the, you know, planning. How do they work? Well, now we're past Grandpa here, being able to handle this. I'm looking for, we started, you know, Grandpa, granddaughter coding. This summer we're going to learn to do a little coding. And what I'm looking for, from the time that my kids were little to now I have my grandchildren, we we have the technology to do this, but I don't have I go to Khan Academy, I go and I search, and I tell you, there is not as many resources for someone that wants to do exactly what I want to do as I anticipated that they were going to be there. Where do I go?
Structure? What is structure?
Inspiration, information, dumbing it down to a 5, 6-year-old to be able to understand transistors and electronics. And I'm just looking, is there something, because if there isn't, well, hell, I'll do it. You know,
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm listening to you tell this story, and I'm reminded of this quote. I forgot who said it. No matter what we try to teach our kids, we teach what we are. You know, and fortunately for your grandkids, you are Ernest Hancock. You are awesome. You're creative. You're energetic. You know, and that's a terrific resource for them.
Yeah, but I need help.
You what? You need help. You need help. So you have. What is the help you need? Would you describe it with the word structure?
Not necessarily.
Is that what you're missing?
No, I need inspiration. I need inspiration. Because they'll go off on their own. I'm just trying to guide them and show them, well, heck, there's every Monday. So we do reruns a lot on Monday. So every Monday, my grandchildren come over. I get all day of learning with my grandchildren. Right. It's awesome. I love, if I could do nothing but grandpa school, that's what would be happening, okay? Because I learn all the stuff that I don't know, you know, and through them. They are amazing mind, brain sponge machines. And all we have to do is inspire. That's kind of what we try to do in the movement. So I'm looking for, from your position, man, if you got the one site, be all, help me, inspiration, or we as a community just start adding to it. You know, like Joby has, you know, hundreds of documentaries that he just puts on his own page that people are able to go see, and they're awesome documentaries. If we have the same kind of pooling of information, I don't need it structured, I just need it available. You know, I'll structure it myself. I'll determine what each child needs and what their interests are. I'm just looking for resources, and I thought you might be able to direct me somewhere. Or I'll give you an example. Okay, yeah, I want to do this. When we were looking for where is everybody learning how to code? Where are they learning how to make all these actuators, widgets of I made, Arduino, Raspberry Pi, save the world stuff, okay? Yeah. And I had a guy that was teaching kids how to solder in San Francisco. He did it was a device that as you walked around, it just turned off all the TVs in public somewhere, you know, TV be gone thing. So I'm going, okay, I'm moving back to it. So he was teaching them how to solder. And I go, wow, that's cool. Is that what he goes, man, they don't know how to solder. Then he teaches them all this other stuff. I go, where? He goes, it's hackerspace. All I had to do is learn one word. Hackerspace and a city. San Francisco hackerspace, teen hackerspace. That one word, that one search changed everything. All of a sudden you're starting to find out where all these smart kids are going to learn this stuff. I'm looking for the word to search or the thing to go to, and I thought you'd help.
In this case, I'm not sure, but we could talk about. I can get more information after, and let's talk about it and see if we can come up with a solution.
We're gonna do it.
Hey.
Hi, my girlfriend and I are interested in moving to New Hampshire. Both of us were homeschooled when we were younger.
Yeah.
From Michigan. We were wondering what laws or regulations exist in New Hampshire that would restrict homeschooling or unschooling. Are there any of those in New Hampshire?
That's a question that I would probably source to the. Can you come up closer to the mic and just ask again, just to make sure I heard you correctly?
Yeah. We were wondering what sort of state regulations exist around homeschooling and unschooling, whether or not there's some sort of testing that is required, or if they have, I know in some states they have people that are required to come into the home and make sure that you're schooling your children correctly. I'm just wondering if there's any state restrictions on homeschooling or unschooling.
The state is pretty friendly to the practice of home education. Obviously, it depends on what district you're going to wind up in. I mean, like we spent quite a bit of time trying to come up with a resource for people. I mean, our audience for the show is obviously global, so that's impossible. So then we just tried to condense it down to national and come up with like rules or guidelines, but even that is very difficult because the regulations and the rules from state to state vary so much. Fortunately, the two states where I've spent the most experience working with the two states I've spent the most experience working with students has been New Hampshire and Massachusetts. But in New Hampshire, over the course of the last 3 years, it was mostly homeschoolers. And I found, this was in the central part of the state near Concord, the state capital, they were very, very laissez-faire. They asked me for very, very little. Now, I can't tell you what exact laws you would want to be aware of, but the experiences that I've had in the last 3 years, I felt very, very comfortable to let the student take the lead and be able to meet. Well, I think I had to, over the course of a year, meet with his advisor, because he was still part of the school system. I had to meet with an advisor twice. It was very pleasant, he was very understanding. It's worth adding that it was a special needs student, so there was a fair amount of flexibility, but I wouldn't come to New Hampshire worrying that it's going to be difficult to homeschool your child here, and I could certainly help connect you to a dozen families at least who've had the same experience.
Thanks.
No problem. 2 minutes?
Real quick, there's a common phrase for what you offer, and it's real world education.
Yeah.
How about using that phrase?
Can you pull that down so I can...
Real world education is something that resonates for everyone. Why don't you use that phrase to describe what you do rather than unschooling? Just a suggestion.
Okay, I'm just, yeah.
You having trouble hearing me?
A little bit, yeah. Can you give him some volume?
I can get it closer.
All right.
I'm suggesting that you call what you do real world education.
I'm not saying that, so I'm saying I like that term better than homeschooling or unschooling. I mean, let's leave school to school, right? And let's talk about education. So I think that there's attitudes that come with the concept of homeschooling. First of all, you're trapped in the home. And second of all, you're trying to replicate what the school does.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it's great news that there's 1 million new homeschools. Are those people who said, yeah, we really want to set our children free to follow their own intrinsic motivation, and we really want to practice peaceful parenting? Or are they people who said, you know, I've had it with this country, Rick Santorum is never going to be elected president, and I'm getting my kids out of these schools? You know, so it's part of it is exciting, and part of it is scary for me. So what I'm really interested in doing is kind of propelling the positive part of that trend forward, and a lot of it has to do with the attitude. You know, what are we trying to do if we seek alternative education? So home education was the best term that I came up with so far, but I talk to people who aren't spending a lot of time at home.
Right.
You know, because home has its educational limits. So they're going out and connecting with other people, and they're going on field trips and vacation. You know, I mean, like, one of the greatest things about doing home education is you can go on vacation whenever you want. We're out of time? All right. I'll finish with you after because there's a point there. But thanks for coming, everybody. I appreciate it.